Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that just kind of sideways action on the altcoins and the crypto bubbles. Basically, that's because we are at an indecisive point still on the Bitcoin chart, and we do have a lot of important data coming up on Friday. Guys, let's jump over to the Market Watch calendar where we can see that the PCE data comes in tomorrow, and that should be very critical in choosing the direction of this market. Right now we have a reading of zero point 0.3 being expected, and last month was also zero point 0.3 on the core PCE. If this comes in hotter than expected, expect markets to take a little bit of a dump, especially the S&P 500 looks pretty vulnerable right now with that bearish divergence on the weekly. That's not going to be good if it closes that way. That would foretell potentially catastrophic dump on the stock market, which could take crypto along with it, guys. But if this is better than expected, under 0.3%, then maybe the stock market can continue to push up. That weekly bearish divergence on the S&P 500 might be negated, and perhaps all of these assets, including Bitcoin and crypto, might be able to get a bit of a pump. That's your news. Look out for that tomorrow. Guys, let's just jump straight over to the charts. And hey, I have to give a big congratulations to the Alpha fam because, of course, we did have this trade set up on our charts a week in advance. Last week, I did put it out there that this is the move that I expected us to take. Now, I didn't expect it to pump this hard, but we did get a pump right off of that breakout and then the retest of the wedge that we were looking for. And that, of course, sent us flying, where we did land, roughly in the area where I was pointing to. And now that we've flipped this area of a 29,200-ish, you can see that historically, we've been able to move all the way up to 30. So I'm looking for the potential for us to get back up to that 30. Our real goal to keep pumping up, right, is to flip that 30 area, and then especially to flip that $31,000 area. Failing that, then this is just a lower high and expect deeper lows. Again, I think some of this might be contingent upon that PCE data tomorrow, so don't dismiss the macro. Guys, you got to respect the macro, okay? Like, it is in charge right now. We're really operating from these kind of like 2-week and monthly charts these days, okay? The big picture is in play. I'm just giving you the 6-hour setup so that you guys can have something to trade. And guys, you are absolutely killing it. Look at this 10% move here. Just imagine that on 5x leverage, right? Maybe you got 50% play off of that. Or what if you were doing 20x? Maybe you got a solid 200% play. I mean, guys, congratulations. And I really appreciate the support that you've been giving me. All of your likes and subscriptions, they really do help me out, motivate me to make more content. And if you like these type of plays, I will continue to post them. Of course, every day doesn't have a setup, but we are trying to deliver that as we learn as a group together in the Discord. Link is in the description of the video below. Of course, I'm not any type of trading god. The whole point of us making this channel, the whole point of us coming together is to be continuous learners and to improve our skills. And so that's how we can see that, yes, maybe we flipped this area and potentially could be pushing up. We are going to be watching this very critically. Let's go ahead and put some type of new thresholds for the 6-hour on the Bitcoin chart here. You can see as long as we're above 29,300, we are going to be holding this momentum to the upside. And below that, we would just be drifting kind of sideways in the momentum pool, not really breaking anything structurally unless we get under 28,435. Bulls don't get into control until we're over 29,480, after which I would suggest there's a significantly higher likelihood that we could get to this volatility pivot at 29,760. And if we flip that, then I would say, yeah, Probably we're going to, 31,000. Probably we even have a great chance of getting to 32,000. But of course, the day chart is going to have something to say about that. So let's go over to the daily, and the daily is looking, pretty similar. Okay, the daily is actually going off on a great start here, where we are above the hold momentum, we are above the neutral point of control. We did add momentum above 28,740, which we won't lose any unless we get below that level. And we are just continuing to push through this zone, even though we had a solid rejection off of the bullish control zone with those rumors and whatnot yesterday. We are headed back to that bullish control zone, approximately 30,390. If we can flip that on the day, then again, guys, I think we're just going to get back to 31 and then 32 and maybe even beyond that. So this is all looking very auspicious in a good way again. But the thing that we don't want is that just another rejection in this area underneath that bullish control zone. Another one would again probably just be a lower high, and we would be looking for significantly lower. Where we would start to break down on the daily would be underneath 27,450. Previously it was 27,250, but that has raised a bit. Okay, that's the nature of the volatility pivot. It does move quite a bit, and then bears don't get into control until we're under 26,200. So yeah, if we dipped down there, I still wouldn't be giving up hope. As long as we were just kind of flashing in that area and quickly got back above 27,450, I would say, yeah, we've slowed down. This is going to take longer than expected, but I really wouldn't be too worried under 27, or as long as we're above 27,450. We can just play around in that area. But right now, again, like we're above the neutral point of control. Things are biased bullish, and we are within striking distance of that bullish control zone. Guys, the 3-day chart closes today, and that is going to be incredibly important because the 3-day has a lot of things that are important on it. The first of which is this volatility pivot being over our head. Okay, so when the day closes, that volatility pivot should mathematically come down, and as long as we're hanging out in this area, especially above this general continuation above 29,555, there is a good chance that we're going to be able to grab that volatility pivot, even though it's all the way up here at 30,700 above these candle closures over here. Guys, we are in striking distance of it, and that should suggest that we could have continuation to 32,000, maybe even 35,000 should we grab that level. So I'm not looking for this wick high of 31,000. That's what everyone else is looking at. I'm looking at 30,700. We hold that on the 3-day, and things are looking pretty sweet. Now, we could end up just drifting around a little bit in the momentum pool. It is quite huge, but and then that volatility pivot could come down over the next couple sets of 3-day periods, and then we could have a second chance. Again, we don't break any structure until a 26,000 over here, all very much in the same area, in that 26 to 26.5 area that we've seen so far. And again, we have this critical support over here at 27,500 just to kind of hold our momentum to the upside here. And we are going to gain momentum above 30,170, which you can see we wicked to previously. And so if we are able to flip that, then again, just the statistical likelihood of gathering that volatility pivot jumps enormously. And so those are going to tip over like dominoes, potentially to the upside. So things are looking good in my assessment. If we do jump over to some EMAs on the daily, you can see that we do have the 200 SMA over our head on the 3-day here. And so if we do get just a dramatic push up, I would suggest that 32,000 is probably a hard limit, then some type of rejection, and then maybe we can try again potentially for 35. But anyway, I would just say don't be more ambitious than 32,000 at this point. Okay, like don't count your chickens before they're hatched. But we do have a nice squeeze to the upside right now, very supporting, very uplifting by this 3-day 300 and 200 EMA. Also, dramatically being pushed up by the 21 EMA. So all of this structure here is telling me that we are in a good spot. This looks bullish, guys. I was bullish a week ago. I'm bullish. Yes, I was bullish in the last episode, and I'm still bullish right now. Of course, we have to be aware of those potential macro problems should we break down below these, critical levels around 26,000. We have to be aware of those potential bearish macro setups that could come into play, just to be psychologically ready, just in case something weird happens. Maybe the PCE data tomorrow is devastating. Then we could take quite the tumble. But guys, I do think that it's probably going to come in roughly as expected. And so if that's the case, then probably we continue our way. If it's better than expected, then maybe we get that bullish push up to 32,000. Let's go ahead and just check our EMAs on the daily, because I forgot to take a look at the daily EMAs. And yeah, of course, you can see that squeeze that did get put in after we had put in that structure on the 6 hour. Just over the last couple days, we were able to bring this candle up. We had, of course, this kind of double-edged knife, this kind of a Darth Maul candle right here that just killed everyone on the way up and down. The shorts and the longs all got liquidated. And then that freed up a bunch of liquidity for the squeeze play, for the market makers to just push us up across this level that had been pretty solid resistance just for weeks. And temporarily we got above it, but we did lose it. And so then they just had to take a little bit more liquidity, and now they're going to try for it again. That's the story of Bitcoin here. And then on the daily, you can see that we have that 200 EMA and the 300 EMA in this kind of $24,000 area. So if we did have a dump, if this just became a lower high, right? Just for whatever reason, the PCE data comes in bad, we end up putting in a lower high, we have a dump, then that does suggest that we have some support in this $24,000 area. And then with the 200 SMA over here, it does suggest that kind of 22,000 is that bottom area. And let's just take this as potentially a kind of a rectangle, right? Kind of a rectangle just channel right here. Then if we just take a look at the measured move here, it would suggest that we could break down all the way to that $23,000 area. If we just kind of dismiss some of the wicks, right? If we dismiss some of the wicks there and just use the candle bodies, then a conservative play, let's bring that up just a little bit. A conservative play might be, again, somewhere down along 23 to a $25,000, just assuming that we have this kind of rectangular structure as a channel. That would just be my estimate of where something catastrophic could bring us down to. Now we are continuing to pump. You can see we're 29,500, and so my bullish assessment does seem to be on track. We have very quickly gone from 28, essentially 800, to 29,500 in the time that I've been planning and filming this video. So I think I'm going to stop it there. Maybe I could just add one more thing, which is that I do see us building some potential structure that you should be aware of, and that's going to be this macro triangle here, which is a rising wedge. These are bearish formations. It does suggest that at some point it'll bump its head, usually on the fifth drive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then probably a breakdown, which could come into that $23,000 area. So that is a legitimate target where we're seeing these 200, 300 EMAs. That is a legitimate target. There is liquidity right here. There's liquidity right here. And so some type of scary flash wick, that is very possible. Guys, I'm not predicting that, because if we are bullish enough, we could push all the way out of this channel. We could break that 32. But again, I said don't be greedy, right? Because we have that 200 overhead on the, I believe it was the 3-day. Let's put the 3-day on. Yeah, we have that 200 EMA on the 3-day just over our head that we could bump into, and that would be potentially what sends us back down. If we do break through that, however, I would see us going to potentially 35,000. maybe retesting the wedge bullishly and then even pushing up to 42,000. Now that's the less likely scenario. These things have a 70% chance of breaking to the downside. Okay, so I just want you to buckle up and be ready psychologically in case we get one more drive up and then we end up breaking down to 23,000. Don't say I didn't warn you, okay? Like it's just it's on the chart. I'm just reading the charts, guys, okay? This isn't what I want to happen. This is just what I'm telling you. I'm seeing on the chart, and the chart usually doesn't lie. Sometimes it does lie, but usually it doesn't lie. Okay, so these are the outcomes that you should be prepared for. It is looking pretty good right now. Wow, 29, almost 700 already. So we are getting significant pushes there. Let's go back to the 6 hour just because I am recording this right now. Let's turn off this wedge. Which would max out at that $32,000 spot. Let's put the 6 hour back on just to see, did we cross some levels here? Yeah, we got the bulls in control. And look, we tapped that volatility pivot and we are about to flip that volatility pivot. So guys, that's what we're going to be looking for. And gee, would you look at this? Would you look at this structure? Look at this, guys, okay? Just while I'm recording, we're making this structure right here, which you can see that is a beautiful cup and handle. Okay, that's a beautiful cup and handle there. Just take some conservative measured move here, bring it, to the neckline. Should this volatility pivot get flipped, then check out the measured move on that cup and handle. It would be taking us to $32,000. Okay, $32,000. Guys, I didn't think I was going to have a tradable setup for you today, but it looks like multiple episodes in a row, you're going to get a potential trade setup. And so this is what I'm looking at. Flip the volatility pivot and look forward to 32,000. Again, where does that line up on our macro triangle? Right at the top of the wedge. Right at the top of the wedge, where we would expect it to have either a small pullback and then a breakout, or we would expect it to just start to break down. Okay, so you do want to take your profits in that level and then see if we flip, 32,500-ish, or basically outside of this wedge, or if we end up breaking back down below 31,000, they're probably going to go on a ride, okay, and then play around with the bottom of the wedge and then after some time finally break down. Okay, so just be aware of these things. Guys, I am going to leave you there. So I think this was actually a pretty good video. Again, 2 trading setups, in a row for the Alpha Fam. I hope you guys are able to catch this. If we do break to the upside, then you guys will absolutely be killing it. And if we do break down, then you can understand also what's going on. We do have the bottom of that wedge somewhere around 28,000, and then of course we have all these wicks of support at 27,000, which then would lead us naturally to that $25,000 area. So just on a structural basis and then on a momentum basis, you can see what's going on. Guys, that was your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.